Can you imagine what the people think after hearing the stories of the fall of Jericho and Ai? The kings who live in the country come together and say, "We need to fight hand in hand against Joshua." But the people from the city Gibeon do something else. They resort a ruse. They load their donkeys with worn-out sacks and old wineskins. And they put on worn and patched sandals on their feet and wear old clothes. They take bread that is dry and moldy, and then they go to Joshua. When they come to Joshua in the camp, they say to him and to the Israelites, "We have come from a very far country. We want you to make a covenant with us." The Israelites say, "But perhaps you live very near to us, so how can we make a covenant with you?" But they answer, "We are your servants." Then Joshua asks, "Who are you, and where do you come from?" They answer, "Your servants have come from very far, because we heard about the Lord your God, what he has done in Egypt and in Jericho and in Ai. So the people in our country said to us, 'Take provisions for your journey. Go and meet them and say to them, "We are your servants. Make a covenant with us." This bread was warm when we packed it at home on the day we left to come to you. But now see how dry and moldy it is. And these wineskins that we filled were new, but see how cracked they are, and our clothes and sandals are worn out by the very long journey." Oh yes, the Israelites see it all and they think this must be the truth. But they forget a very important thing. They don't ask the Lord what to do. When you make your own plan without asking the Lord what he wants you to do, it can only become a disaster. Then Joshua makes a covenant of peace with them and says, "You will always live. We will not attack you." And the leaders of the Israelites ratify it by oath. 3 days later, the Israelites find out that these men were just their neighbors living near them. But the Israelites cannot attack their city because their leaders had sworn an oath to them by the Lord. The Israelites grumble against their leaders. But the leaders answer, "We have given them our oath by the Lord. We cannot touch them now. But this is what we will do. We will let them live so that God's wrath will not fall on us for breaking the oath. But we make them woodcutters and water carriers so that they do a job for us." The leaders keep their promise. That's very important for you to do as well. Make sure others can always trust you. Then Joshua summons the Gibeonites and says, "Why did you deceive us by saying we live a long way from you, while actually you live near us? You are now under a curse. You will never be released from service as woodcutters and water carriers for the house of my God." They answer, "Your servants were clearly told how the Lord your God had commanded his servant Moses to give you the whole land and to wipe out all its inhabitants from before you. So we feared for our lives because of you, and that is why we did this. We are now in your hands. Do to us whatever seems good and right to you." So from that day on, the Gibeonites are water carriers and woodcutters for the people of Israel, for their own needs, but also for the service of the house of the Lord.